Hello. Today I would like to talk about vote by mail. I did a previous video. I've been voting by mail, I think since about the 80s, but I could be a little off on that. It could be the 90s too. But anyway, doesn't really matter. I've been voting by mail for a while. And I live in Oregon, or that's where my ballot is. And basically, um, voting by mail, as far as I've understood it, has been safe. And in fact, one year I voted by mail, and it was kind of a silly little thing that happened. But I live in I come from a small town of about 800 people, and I decided to write in my husband's name for a particular position in the community. And in our paper we have a small once a week newspaper. They always tell you who the write-in votes were, which is always kind of fun. I find it kind of fun to know who the write-ins are. And anyway, so that being said, I'd written my husband's name down. So, because really, in all fairness, I felt that he was the best candidate. It had to do with timber and what is harvestable timber and what should be left. And my husband is very much a scientist in his mind, and maybe he won't pick according to what the loggers want, but he'll pick according to what is best for the environment. So, I found him to be the best choice for that particular. Of course, politically, they don't want somebody who's going to choose for the trees. So that's just not possible. So anyway, it just being what it is, voting by mail, is it safe? And so when I wrote his name down, I was expecting to see it in the paper. Well, I forgot to sign my ballot, so I didn't get counted that year. And I went in and looked at it because I was upset that my vote didn't get counted. And well, it was because I didn't thoroughly make sure my ballot was properly filled out. So I'm just saying this. I'm telling you this truth because for me, I think it's clear that voting by mail is safe. And I think to politicize a post office, a mailing process, to me, I'm sufficiently concerned. I don't want to give voice to the nasty, because that's how I feel it is. I feel like some of the behavior that I've been observing coming to this point has been something of a nasty, okay? And so I'm just not feeling it. I personally want this political cycle to end. And when it comes out that my vote might not happen because, well, the post office might not deliver my ballot, I had to go into some meditative prayer and grounding, because that just about puts me out of my skin, to think that I now live in a country that I don't have the right to vote in. And that is the message, I think, that if you vote, if it's not a favorable ballot, it might not make it to the box. And so, how could they know this? How could this be? I think it isn't very thought out. So I will say that. I think that it's a bit hasty. It's a bit panicky. It has an energy to it that reflects a desire to win at all costs. And I think that that's going to have its own consequences. So, um, what I'm asking the cards then is this: if you vote by mail, are you safe? Is your vote safe? And how will you get your ballot to your county, in your state? So, with that, let us begin. I first of all start out with the King of Swords. So, this here is going to be the president and his codependent enablers. Um, Basically, hot air saying to us things that are really designed to keep us frightened, to keep us embattled. And um, this is kind of a cruel king. He is a cruel. This is a cruel administration, and I want to be clear. I don't want to focus too much on Trump because the way I see Trump is that he's just the showman for the codependency and the ugly that's underneath. And none of this could have happened without there being a really serious problem in DC. Because, number one, maybe it is an issue of education, but in theory, there are three branches of government. There's the judicial, there is the legislative, and there's the executive branch. And it's a three-legged stool designed that if one branch is out of control, that the other two branches or one branch only needs to kick the stool leg and it all collapses. And for whatever reasons, that's not taking place. So, we do have some very serious social issues taking place right now, and largely because I think we were unaware of what our real system looks like. I think we're seeing that for maybe the first time. So, and what this card, this King of Swords is crossed by is this Three of Cups, this this giving and the receiving of cups, this socially conscious, unconscious um, energy, this shadow work, this toasting of some new process that is coming. And I think that we are in this great awakening, and I think that this speaks to that. I think this speaks. He's out of room to run. He's this particular whatever is going on, and I again, I'm not going to go that it is Democratic, it's not Republican, it isn't Trump, it is political and it is ill. And so, and being crossed by this more or less, Neptunian energy, this watery energy, that's our collective consciousness. That is us looking deeper into, where are we really? What do we have going on here? Why is this happening to us? And we need to look at that because it's all reflective. We're in this mess because we internally have work to do. Okay. And in the above position, the world card. This is happening everywhere. Um, Leadership everywhere right now is in trouble. And our vote, how we get our vote to our voting center and get our voice heard is something that's impacting the entire world. The world is watching, the world is listening. This isn't a past position, but the world's watching. I find that interesting. And it's got a King of Wands. I'm going to say that part of this voting issue we have to look at because of COVID. And I say this because this card reminds me of a very well developed fire. And I view COVID as a very well developed fire. It's like you get it in your lungs and you're on fire. And it's pretty nasty. And for that reason alone, we need vote by mail. Okay. And in the below position, the genie is out of the cup. The air, the stink is starting to rise. It is time for us to put this shift of magic to its conclusion. And this is a conclusion card, thank goodness. I think that we are all feeling like, yeah, we're tired of the magic coming out of the bottle or the dirty tricksters. And we've had enough dirty tricks to last us a good long time. But go into gratitude, for you've been educated. Go into gratitude because I'm not sure, as much as this pains me to say, and I don't say it for reasons that your typical and evangelical will say this, but for Trump to be as dysfunctional as he is, it's almost as if he's functioning with a higher consciousness that we understand not at all. And I understand that he is such an aggravating character there, you can't put anything loving to this. You can't spin this in a loving way. So yeah, I'll temper it there, but it just is what it is. Okay, and for us, our voting rights, we've worked hard, many, you know, over time to have the right to vote, to have this democracy, to have things flourish in this way, and to have this democracy more or less yanked out from underneath us in this way is to me, it is the biggest heartbreak I think I've ever known. I feel like on a daily basis, I ache for people who want children in cages to justify the hatred. They want to think of people of color as fleas or pestilence. And I suffer from deep embarrassment that such a large population of white people are suffering from this. And what I have concluded and what Spirit has shared with me is that it is a form of a mind virus. They just fail to understand what they're asking for is their own demise. By hating you, they're hating themselves. They're revealing themselves. So it is so very heartbreaking. I find myself so very troubled by it all. Um, but what we have is the Ace of Pentacles. A new beginning is going to come for the earth. Now, today I woke up and I had to go into a state of meditation almost immediately because I had this image of a large wave of water. And I know that right now we're getting ready to go into some Gandanta, which is water planets in aspect. I am an astrology student, so I find this fascinating that as we go into this particular aspect, I'm just having this really heavy sense of water. So, but we are getting ready to have a new beginning. Um, these changes are frightening us, but they're here to clear some things out too. We needed this. We needed to be cleared out. Some things are wrong, and here we go. Right now, in some ways, we're tied up and we're in fear and feeling the heat and the stubbornness behind the scenes. Basically, this is us being tied up by our own doing. At any time, we have the ability to remove the bandana. We have the ability to step out from the danger. If you notice in the front, you can step forward. You can remove the bandana. It's loosely tied. Everything is loosely done. We have an option. We don't have to stay in this despair that we're in. It's by choice that we stay there. So that takes us to our hopes and fears. And right now, our voting system, we are juggling it. Will it happen? Will it not happen? Will our loyal post office, as you see the dog in the background, be there for us in the future, or is that something of the past? Um, I know for me, because this is kind of the reality that we're in. Our voting is compromised right now. It is compromised, and make no mistake about it. And if you're a Republican, if you think your vote is going to get counted, I don't know. It might not be because there's no way that the plan that was hastily hatched can be thorough and thoughtful. And so it's not going to be your vote that gets counted, Republican, and it's not going to be my vote that gets counted either. Votes are going to be missed because of the lack of planning that went into this. But I tell you now, you have a choice. You do have a choice. You can take your ballot to your county post office, or not to the post office, but to your ballot box. I am seeing post office with big white containers loaded with voting equipment that isn't going to get counted. So do take your ballot. And in the conclusion position, I have the Queen of Cups, this loving queen um, that is the collective conscious. She is looking over and she is watching the situation. I want to believe because I love Disney and I loved the heroes in the story. I want to believe that we have a hero coming, and maybe this woman is our hero. I know that over the last couple of years that we've all kind of been watching and seeing a woman coming forward that makes some kind of difference for us. Is that this woman? I sure hope so. Is this Kamala Harris? I don't know, but something is starting to change. And that card in the conclusion position was crossed by the death card. It is the end of something that is no longer serving. And notice the moon from above. The moon is to bring us illumination. The moon is our mother. The moon is here to care for us. But the moon has also been what has obscured the truth, the dark side of the moon. So I think what I'm telling you, the moral of the story is if you are voting, carry your ballot to your location where your vote is counted. Because in that sense, you have power over how you get counted. And I don't think that you can count on, I think that we've been told in so many words that our vote may not count this time because we have a political cycle that is desperate to re engage, not because they have something to offer us, but because they have something to fear. And so that's a problem. At the bottom of the pack, we have a Four of Wands. This energy is hot, it's dangerous, it's structured, and it needs to go. It needs to be broken. And in addition, we have the yeah, this card comes up a lot with this particular administration, the Seven of Swords, dancing around the fire, just the crazy thief in the night, looking to take our money, to take our way, to take everything from us and call it good. And I'm here to tell you that doesn't have to happen. We are victims only because we allow it, not because we have to allow it. This is us needing to take charge, and Spirit has given us plenty to look at lately. So with that, I would ask you to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And please join me on www.twiggy.com. And that's TWIGGIE. And on that site, I have tarot bookings and I also have the full range of astrology type readings. So, with that, I conclude. And thank you very much for joining me here today.